apartment this morning doing an unbagging, and not kind of my typical unbagging or unboxing. Typically I do a lot of like JDM unboxings, but today I just have an unboxing, or I guess unbagging, from Bass Pro Shops. I went there the other day and picked up about $300 worth of stuff in this bag. So this bag isn't the biggest, but it definitely holds some really cool things in my opinion. Before I get into the unbagging, Mark Welch actually did end up hitting me up, and he was the winner of this jerkbait here. So I'm gonna be sending him this in the mail once he sends me his PO box or address. And if you guys didn't win this month, don't worry, because I'm gonna be doing another giveaway here very shortly with another Megabass limited edition lure, and I'm gonna be doing that every single month. So even if you don't win the next giveaway, there'll be a giveaway after that as well. And in all of my unboxing or unbagging videos, I'm gonna go through everything I bought. I'm not gonna skip over anything. I'm literally gonna go over everything. Let's not waste any more time and let's just get right into it. One of the cooler pickups I got are these Vision 110 +1 Juniors. Now, I wasn't entirely sure if I had either of these colors. One is called Table Rock, the other one is called Matte Shad. And since I wasn't sure if I had these colors, I decided just to pick up both of them. The Vision 110 +1 Junior is one of my favorite jerkbaits. This is the Table Rock color. Has a chartreuse side, purple top, kind of whitish belly, and then a slight hint of peach. Now that +1 in the name, all that means is that this bait is going to have a bigger bill than a normal Vision 110, so it's going to dive a little bit deeper. A normal Vision 110 Junior only gets down to about 4 feet. But this +1 will get all the way down to about 7.5 feet depending on the line you use. If you're using like 8-pound line, you can get this down all the way to 7.5 feet. But if you're going to be using like 15-pound line, then this might only get down to about 5 feet. And these jerkbaits are both 3/8 of an ounce, and they're both suspending. And a jerkbait is not just a cold water bait. In my opinion, a jerkbait is an all year round bait. Now, sticking with that kind of Japanese theme, I picked up a jerkbait from Lucky Craft. I don't exactly know the name of this bait. I just thought it was like a deep diving pointer 90 or something like that. And the color is called Flake Golden Sexy Minnow. This kind of got like that gold color on top, translucent body. And this will dive all the way to about 10 feet. This bait is also suspending and weighs 7/16 of an ounce. And these next two baits I picked up from Booyah, I realized I literally didn't have any of them. So I picked up 2 of them in just some of my confidence colors, black and white. I like to keep it simple, no reason to get too fancy. I'm sure this is gonna work great at night with that really loud buzzing noise across the top of the surface. This black bait is in 3/8 of an ounce, and this white one is in 1/4 of an ounce. Now that is it for the hard baits I picked up. Now I'm gonna move on to some of the soft baits I got. One of my favorite Megabass lures is a dark sleeper. I've heard really good things about this bait. I've heard bad things about this bait. Honestly, I don't have really anything but good things to say about this bait. I've used it a couple times and caught fish every time I used it. And although there is a little paddle tail on the back of this bait, you want to fish this bait like a jig or something like that, like a football head jig, just dragging it along the bottom. You can swim this through the middle of the water column and you can catch fish like that too. That's no problem. But this bait really shines on the bottom, used just like a jig. And this bait is 3 inches and 1/2 ounce. but they have all sorts of weights and all sorts of lengths. This is just the one that I decided to pick up. I really like that 1/2 ounce. because that 1/2 ounce, I can throw it on any bait caster I want to. Not strictly stuck to like a spinning setup. So moving on, I picked up some Z-Man tubes. I picked one up in Gobi color, and the other one I picked up in PB&J. This bait is heavily salted. And this is the Gobi, and Gobi is actually one of my favorite soft plastic colors of all time. It's just green pumpkin with gold and purple fleck. And with all Z-Man soft plastics, you have that really stretchy technology. So this bait is going to be super durable. There's a ton of pickerel where I live in New Hampshire, and they'll just chew up any bait. But with these Z-Man baits, they'll last so much longer. These tubes are 4 inches, and these tubes are actually naturally buoyant. And one thing I kind of want to do that's kind of unorthodox with tubes is I don't want to put a tube jig head in this tube. What I want to do is drop shot it and see how that does for smallmouth. Moving on to one of my favorite soft plastic companies. This is Berkeley Maxscent power bait. But luckily at my Bass Pro Shops, they had 2 packages of the General left in my favorite color, no less, black. So I got super lucky. Usually my Bass Pro Shops are completely sold out of the Generals. But the Generals are just a Senko style bait. And with this bait here, I'm not going to be doing the typical Texas rig. What I'm going to be doing is wacky rigging it, but I'm also not going to be doing the typical wacky rig. How I want to fish this bait here is off of steep ledges in about like 20-25 feet of water for smallmouth. I bought some Flick Shake Finesse jig heads. These are 1/8 ounce. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wacky rig those Generals on this bait here. And with that 1/8 ounce, it's really going to be able to bring my bait down to that 20-25 feet pretty easily. Now if I was just doing a weightless wacky rig, it would take forever to get down to the bottom. But I'm really hoping with this 1/8 ounce, I'll be able to get my bait down to that 20-foot zone where the smallmouth are in the summertime. But these are 5 inches, and they come 8 to a package. It has that classic stinky smell. It's not the same as like the normal power bait in the yellow package, but it still has that stank. But sticking with Berkeley, I picked up some 10-inch power worms in black grape color. I'm going to be using a weighted Texas rig with this and throwing it in deep water. Just for some bass, I think a big worm is a great technique to catch largemouth and smallmouth in the summertime too. And I picked up a couple package of Bass Pro tubes. This color here is called Green Pumpkin Smoke Purple. Now these Bass Pro tubes are gonna come super salty. These are 4 inches as well, and they come 8 to a package. But this is the Green Pumpkin Purple Smoke color. And then the other color I picked up is Brown Craw Gold Flake. And I really like this color too, because that flake, there's big chunks of gold flake in there. It's not just tiny pieces of glitter, it actually has some decent size gold flake in there. I thought that was pretty cool. And again, they're gonna be really salted, that 4-inch size. Now sticking with that Bass Pro brand, I picked up some open pore quiver minnows in prism shad color. Just kind of like a little translucent minnow bait. I'm just going to be drop shotting it for some smallmouth, maybe some largemouth, nothing fancy. I've never used the quiver minnow before, but it shouldn't have an issue working. Now moving on to the last soft plastic I bought, and I'm sure you guys have heard of this before, Missile Baits D-Bomb. This color is called Bayou Flash, and when I saw this color, it definitely caught me. I didn't really pick this bait up because I was looking specifically for D-bombs, but when I was walking through the aisle and I saw this purple color, I had to buy it. It's a perfect Texas rig bait, a perfect jig trailer, has a really strong licorice or anise smell. You even could put this on like a Carolina rig, a punch rig. Just a super versatile soft plastic creature bait or craw. These look to be about 4 inches as well, and they come 6 to a package. Alright, so that is it for the hard baits, that's it for the soft baits. Now I'm moving on to terminal tackle. And starting off, this is by far my favorite fishing line. It's not even close. The FC Sniper is my favorite line. It's the softest line I've ever used, and it has literally like 0 memory to it whatsoever. Super easy to cast. Same with Sunline Assassin, one of my favorite lines of all time. Both 20-pound test. And there is a little bit of difference between these two lines. The FC Sniper is actually going to be smaller in diameter, and it's going to be softer and easier to cast. It's going to be super smooth. The Sunline Assassin is going to be a little bit thicker diameter, which is going to help with the abrasion resistance. And the line's just going to be a little bit stiffer. This line is still going to be super easy to cast, still going to be soft, but it is going to be slightly stiffer than the Sniper. So it's kind of just like preference. This one super easy to cast, super soft. This one also super easy to cast, but the abrasion resistance is gonna be slightly better than the Sniper. These are my favorite lines, hands down, not even close. And then the last thing I picked up from Bass Pro Shops were these treble hooks. I actually snapped off one of the treble hooks to one of my glide baits for pike. So I bought these just as a replacement. I thought it'd be pretty cool just to add a little bit extra flash with those blades on the treble hooks. I figured, why not? Pike like flash, in my unprofessional opinion. And again, if you guys didn't win, don't get discouraged. I'm gonna be doing another giveaway really shortly here, and every month from here on out. And I come out with videos every single week. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Peace.